Kyrie Jesu Domine, dona eis requiem. Kyrie Jesu Domine.
Morning, everybody, and happy Monday. This is a mid-morning podcast as we look at Holy Week and pray and contemplate all the events of this week. The little banner I found for Facebook really is a journey that we want to accompany Jesus on. We want to follow him through his triumphal entry into Jerusalem, the event of this week, the Last Supper, his arrest, condemnation, torture, death, emptiness, and then the resurrection. All of that we're invited to follow and participate in, not just be spectators, and we can be, but the church is hoping you and I will follow Jesus in all of this and not be just spectators, passively watching and not being involved. But one of the things I'm prone to pray about and think about this week is how different the psychology of Jesus is from you and I. And this is one of my personal crusades. I mentioned it last week. We live in an age of over-emotionalism. And because of that, we make all kinds of lousy decisions, and we cave into fear a lot more than we should. Because that's what emotional people do. They are governed by fear more often than not. Not always, but if you're overly emotional, fear gets an easier foothold on you. And believe it or not, we can condition ourselves through our thoughts to be more or less emotional. And Jesus Christ is not calling us to be stoics for the gospel. That is not at all what he's calling us to do. But he's calling us to use our emotional state to fuel our thoughts and our reflections and our actions, not to replace them. Because you know, Jesus this week is thinking about the fact that Peter's going to deny him. Judas is going to betray him. All the rest, with the exception of John, are going to abandon him. The people whom he loves, and he loves his people, as he loves all of us, for the most part are all going to resoundingly reject him and condemn him. And if anybody should not trust the crowd, Christians should not trust the crowd. Because look what the crowd has done. The crowd has acclaimed Jesus, and they will condemn Jesus. But my whole point on this is, imagine this. If you and I were going to any of these things with foreknowledge like Jesus did, we probably couldn't handle it. We could not bear it. We would become unhinged. We would first of all, we'd probably get rid of Judas before he could betray us. We'd tell him, you're going to betray me, and we let it all out of the bag. We could not quietly acknowledge that reality. We would let it out of the bag. We would confront Peter on his denials and probably humiliate him about his bravado that's empty. And we'd tell the rest of them what a bunch of losers they are for abandoning us or for ourselves. Jesus doesn't do any of that. He's mindful of all that, and yet that takes a back seat to what's at hand. The Last Supper discourse, the institution of the Eucharist, the promise of resurrection. All of that is the backdrop of this week. Jesus is aware and is patient and not compelled by needless emotionalism or exaggerated fear. And we could sure use more of that these days, where we tend to be more prompted by fear. And many neighbors, we need to pray for our neighbors. And these are the very people who, the moment they see you with 9 other friends, are going to call the cops or they're going to take pictures on their phone and they're going to send it in. Pray for them. God love them because they're letting fear govern their lives. And this bizarre desire to feel self-righteous about gatherings rather than, if you want to get together in groups of 10, that's your business. And if there's more, well, your risk, not mine. I'm not going to go running to Uncle Sam or Uncle Missouri because I'm see here. Anyway, God bless, and we'll talk to you all later. Have a great Monday.